Carrier wanting to get into position, but the Shy is going to be spotted immediately. Good spell shield as the Supreme display of talent doesn't find the angle, and then Protect the President comes on through from T1. Void Rush not going to be enough, and it's Gumayusi that gets the better of the Rek'Sai. And the Shy may have thrown a bit of this lead away, but IG still standing. We'll see what they can get from this. It's a decent stun onto Owner. He's out of the way, but the seismic shove comes through. Pop loves him only onto one as Gala's forced to run away. Such a low health bar. As the boss responds, not quite enough. Rookie goes down. Gumayusi's free hitting, and it's another one for Owner as T1. As now they're looking for even more. The Pulverize only connects onto one. Supreme display of talent goes absolutely everywhere, but it doesn't do anything. They're able to take down the turret, and T1, they're just going to move their way back out. They're just stealing all their stuff, Kobe, and they're watching as there it is, the public execution comes in. Mako just pops like a balloon. The inhibitor goes down. It's a fair bit of AoE as Rookie is still tearing them up alongside Gala. And the Shy gets into the backline with that Void Rush, but now he's in an uncomfortable position. Decent knockup comes through as Faker's trying to hold them at bay to give enough time to Guma to take down the Shy. And IG back to walking backwards once again, and Faker flashes forward, finds Gala, blows him up, and this should be the end of the game. T1, after losing for the majority of it, just come out on top, and they're going to look to put themselves 1-0 in this best of 5. Unless Rookie can do something miraculous underneath this turret, but he's not going to be able to. The seismic shove, all too set up here for Faker to take him down.
What a way to open up Worlds 2025, Atlas. T1 here looking to finish the job in game 1.
Well, Mako looking to try and fight back here, but once again, just into the tennis racket of Faker as Way, not going to get thrown back this time, but the rocks will be enough. A double kill for Faker. The GOAT sitting at 4-1 and 5. Another ready to teleport in at a moment's notice as there's Make It Rain to come down. Cyclone is there as well from Way, who's just keeping them at bay. Down goes Owner, and that is going to be the Warrior Trickster, but now Doran has found his mark. Down goes Way as junglers will be traded. The Shy gets into the backline though as Gumayusi is his target, and down he will go. Faker still trying to find it though as Rookie will be taken out. Faker gets into the backline and assassinates all of them. Double kill already, and Doran finishes off the last one as now the Shy cannot do anything. No mana, no hope, and T1 find a much earlier team fight this time. Stop Faker from going back home. There is Carrier getting into the backline, the bullet time, and the shutdown for Gumayusi. Doran's health bar is very low, and the Otacon is being frustrating, but IG are just running out of players.
Way here with the 2 items, definitely painful.
Doran. He's going to look for the flank angle. There's a flash Cataclysm to come on through. Finally, the knockup does come in now for Owner, who goes down to half health. Carrier trying to get himself out of there, and he will! Gumayusi gets a decent amount of damage, but leaves himself exposed and just blows up Way, who gets on top of him, but that's not where he wants to be. Great knockup there onto the Shy as Doran gets on in there. He's looking for Gala as the Shockwave does not do enough, but he does take down Carrier. Fake is doing work though, and Mako is running for the hills. Doran cuts apart this Scion, and T1, it's a difficult comp to make work, but the world champ's looking pretty good with it.
The 3-tiered engage from T1. They will take them down. They will cut IG.
Okay, the flash in from Owner. He finds the knockup. They chase after Gala. Redemption. Can it get the kill as hostile takeover comes on through as well? Gala surviving for a very long time. The flash forward from Gumayusi though puts him down, and Rookie will follow suit. Both carries in the blink of an eye, and this one is firmly in T1's hands now. Turrets going down for the Ziggs. Man, I'm looking over here. I can see Orcs.
Oh, they're going for the Shy.
Left as they are looking for the Shy. Can they find the fear? And they will be able to do so. This time, the Shy doesn't have a lot of that funny business available. He's doing a lot of damage, and now the cavalry is going to come in as he bought enough time to allow IG to capitalize on this one. As Paranoia just to buy the space, and we'll see whether it works. He looks to turn it. They take down Gala, and Owner is still alive. He survives through it all, and Way is going to fall at the same time. The knockup onto Mako, he's dead, and T
into the immediate pop blossom. It finds Owner, but nobody else. Now Gumayusi under a little bit of pressure here on the side. Inspired goes into the Cataclysm, but Lucio's first to die. Owner still trying to get away. Flashes into the rush to buy a little bit more time, but Acathian Rain gets him. T1 still got more men. Quad in the middle of everybody, and he's cut down by the blades of Gumayusi. Quippo's in the death realm for a little bit longer. He'll take out Carrier, but what about afterwards? There's no way to survive a triple kill for Guma. Dragon started by FlyQuest, but immediately responded by T1. Another seismic shove, this time on Busio. Pop Blossom with no value. Chemtech Drake over to Gumayushi. Doran trying to get away. Busio at 100 HP. Gumayushi still looking to step forward. Nice shove there onto Quad, but they aren't going to kill him here just yet. Seraph's Embrace Shield keeps him alive. Realm Warp for the defense. Masu's going to try to get away with that as Inspired uses EQ to get over the wall. Now a teleport coming in from T1. It's Doran looking to cut him off at their own tier 3 turret here in the bottom lane. The Weaver's Wall delays Quad and Masu, and now Doran stands between them and safety. Whippo's trying to help out his team as Quad looks to turn it around. They found a route on a Faker, and Quad takes him out. FlyQuest continued trying to get away, but Owner has arrived. His clone Cyclone kills Inspired, and Quad barely gets away over the wall. Owner's still looking as Whippo has to flash. Masu continues to run in the third, and Tofo Strike doesn't hit, but T1 still has the push.
He's really earning it this time around. The 3-0 Kiana knows that Faker's into a corner. Pop Blossom helping out. Carrier's flashed in. Maybe there's a turnabout play. Junta has to ult in. Jumps to Faker, but he gets shut down. Carrier saved the day. It's a double TP, but there's more numbers here for T1 as Driver has walked into the ongoing trap. Hongyu now walks into range of Owner, and CFO had control, but they're relinquishing it. A triple kill for the slippery snake of Faker. And T1 punished so damn well as Gumayushi gets flushed.
Kill away now as Ayla charges in for the headbutt pull, but it's not going to connect. Ayla now going to be the target here with the redemption coming down, but Carrie is first to die. River team's already have the first kill. River's going to the back line. He wants Faker and Goma. T1's killed River, but what about the rest of the fight? Quinn into the back. Faker staying alive, trying to kite him out. Doka with a little bit more damage, but he's down. 100 Thieves overstep, and T1.
For position here.
Yep, tagged by the first Electro Harpoon. Exhausted now as he tries to fight back. Owner swooping in to protect his mid laner. Meanwhile, FBI's in danger. Killer Instinct defensively. Faker burning down. Dokla burning down. A little bit more damage from Flame Spitter. Isn't going to get it done. Faker finds the first kill back into Dokla. Gumayushi under pressure. He tries to sidestep away. A massive outplay from Gumayushi defensively with the feathers to buy a little bit more time. But he is shut down by River. It's still 3 for 1, favoring T1. The turret already down. Into the back line goes River, but into the front line goes Carrier. Pop Blossom. FBI's already down, and Ayla's going to follow. River dies in the back line of T1. It's 4 dead already, and with only Quinn alive.
Used in the bottom lane as Owner finds Supa. Face first, pushes him back to the wall, immediately CC'd. Flash forward with the shockwave. Excellent teamwork, but Owner's still going to be able to find his way out. Now Guma's moving in. Ulti is going to connect, but it's Elyoyo who body blocks. Elyoyo with the crescent guard, but the snipe from Guma. Dead center right between the eyes to find the double as MKOI are now on the retreat, and T1 take the fight in the river.
Play the map. T1 just ever so slightly ahead now. MKOI tries to even brute force their way in through the mid lane. Faker is separated.
Charm is there. Lock him on Owner, but he goes invisible for a brief moment. Now he's pulled him to the death realm up against Mir when ulti is really going to do nothing, but Owner's still able to retreat for now. Alvaro taken down. Owner coming over the wall, going to pop out in a brief moment. Wants to get the grass blade, doesn't have time. That's the shutdown, but it should be Supa uncontested. Instead it's Carrier coming in with the pulverize, and now it's Elyoyo versus the world. He goes into the Faker, but there's too many people. There's not enough sky to sunder. There's nothing left to guard. Jojo wants to make the difference, but Guma grabs it. 3-man shockwave.
It's the Canadian mid laner trying his best, but it's Faker who's better and snipes him out.
The Drake is down to 2,000 HP. Faker joins up with everybody. It's a 5v5. They go in immediately as Doran tries to lead the charge with a blast estimating smash, but he's only going to be beat down himself. A lot of damage on the Doran, but he is not down. Carry into the back line. The major engage from T1. Tarzan finds a supreme display of talent and making a 1-for-1 so far, but T1 have the health bars. Faker rides the Weaver's Wall as Carrier's about to die into the back line, but Kyle falls. Tarzan falls. T1, they'll lose Carrier as Gumayushi fights back, and Shanks is on the run. Faker and Guma looking for a little bit more with the piercing arrow going over the wall, and Faker's ready to flash. Another rock is thrown. Watching on, waiting for the rest of the team to approach. Elder Dragon down to about 1/2 HP. Hope taking a chunk of damage. Dora charging in. Weaver's Wall over the top. Kyle's going to be caught. A ton of burst onto the support of anyone's legend, and he's already down. T1 charge forward. Double kill to Gumayushi. Pressure onto Tarzan. Triple kill Guma. AL are cut to pieces, and T1 holds the sword. Flandra's last here with a Sivir. They're moving into the enemy jungle now, and Kyle again just slams Owner into the wall, but now he's in danger. Tarzan and Kyle both so low, it's 2 dead on the AL side, but Hope is still alive. Faker flashes back over the wall, but Shanks is burning. Flandra caught in the middle of everyone. Anyone's legend have overplayed their hand, and T1 is ready to punish. Hope should be next to die, and Guma cashes in. Only Shank still stands. That could have been the entire game. A dredge line from Carrier, and Owner is ready to follow up. The wind becomes lightning, and strikes Shanks down to kill Doran. Shanks still in the back part of the fight. Tarzan with a 3-man impale. T1 still trying to fight as Faker arrives in. Shanks down to 150, and the blooming burst from Carrier gets him. It's a 4-2 game, 8 minutes with Carrier and Gumayushi. T1 with control over the Herald as AL approach. Flandra's gonna look for a target, potentially here for the death round. Herald down to 4K. Claw hits 2, but Flandra can't get any closer. Owner wants to take the objective. Paranoia's already gone out. Herald secured by Owner as the Ornhorn comes in, but only finds one. Carrier locks up Hope. Gumayushi into the back line, and the AL AD carries already down. Owner tries to flash away. Doran in the middle of everybody, but Flandra barely stays alive. He should surely die right after the shield falls, and Owner kills him. Kyle's on the run. T1's on the hunt. Everybody on AL's dropping. The Claw, Flandra loses half his HP. The Mordekaiser's gonna be your target. Here goes the Ornhorn. They knock Flandra up into the air, but again, nobody under serious threat. Tarzan with an impale onto 1, but he's about to die. He flashes away. Guma flashes in. Carry with a 3-man Paw Blossom will seal the fate of anyone's legend. Guma with a triple. Guma with a quadra. Only Flandra stands. Gumayushi finally dies, but AL will die. The T1 side, Otacon loses his patience. AL have to be a bit careful. Flandra here on the side, he's gonna find Doran, who finds him, as now the Solar Snare finds Tarzan, and T1 are moving forward. They charm up the enemy jungler. Tarzan's already down, but Doran dies. Hope is excited, but where's the rest of the fight? Carrier tries to get away, Gumayushi right beside him. Flandra here on the front line as Owner's gonna be chopped up. The Mundo dies, Hope's on a killing spree. Flandra going forward, but Faker takes him out. Hope, Shanks, and Kyle trying to get away. Guma, Carrier, and Faker stepping forward. The Otacon, it's impatient, but it's so close to dead. It is stolen away by Faker himself. Slowly, Flandra gonna move forward, try to clear away the control ward. They're going in after the Aatrox. They set him up with the arrow. Flandra has been caught at a critical moment. Over the wall goes Tarzan. Wild Growth coming in from Kyle. Guardian Angel will bring Flandra back, but where is the damage on AL's side? Doran into the back line. Kyle is already down. Doran killed in response. T1 pushing forward. Shanks the next kill. Hope trying to kite. He needs to get away because T1 have won the fight 2-1.
Flandra is trying to reset and teleport back in. He's trying to link up with the team. The minions are here. They need to turn it. That's the teleport.
Okay, T1, they've got to understand this Aatrox is probably their target. Flandra arrives. Solar Snare looking to lock him up. Owner taking a ton of damage. Hope is excited. Flandra's got the kill. Solar Snare on Hope, but it's not going to do any more. Flandra's going to try to get away. Goes back in here for the Q1. Tarzan wants to engage onto Gumayushi, but he cannot find him. Flandra over the wall. Wants Faker. Can't get the damage. Hope can't do it either. Gumayushi's still alive. T1 looking for the engage. They found Flandra, but he gets away. Half HP on the front line of AL. T1 pushing forward. They've made their way on the Nexus. AL scrambles to the bend. Doran can't do it. History is written by the victors. 369 with a third in Tofo strike primed. Top Esports looking for something here. It's Doran jumped on immediately. However, he's into the death realm. He's going after Kanavi. He wants to take out the enemy jungler. Top Esports, they're trying to get him away. But as soon as the death realm ends, Carrier's quickness begins. And Top Esports have already lost their jungler. They're about to lose their top laner. 369 wants to go all out, but Gumayushi and T1 are all in. Hong trying to escape as Cream's got some fancy acrobatics, but he's not getting anything.
T1 on the bot side of the map, it felt like that Jackie Love had really woken up in this game, but Kanavi once again isolated. Shockwave!
Shockwave from Faker to burst down the enemy jungler. Kanavi has never found his angles in this game after that first blood. Cream over the wall wants something. They'll give him a burial. Execution, they can't get Gumayushi. 3-man Paw Blossom from Paria, and Jackie Love's dead again. This time, his friends might just go with him. Gumayushi needs a little bit more as Kanavi chases forward onto Doran. The Trundle needs the kill, but he dies to the Cataclysm. Cream locked up by Faker. It's a justice punch to the jaw, and Gumayushi knocks him out. Triple kill for the Kaisa as Hong's a fish out of water. From the side of Top Esports, T1 ready to respond with one of their own. Doran down to half HP. Owner wants a little bit more. The teleport is a little bit late to arrive from Faker, but it's still just in time. time, T1
versus 1 that turned into a 4 versus 2 as FAKER's Onyas.
Faker walks right towards the brush, but he's got the reaction time. Top Esports wanted to find their moment. Carry is wrapping around from the side. He wants to cut off the escape. Pop Blossom on 2. Doran chasing after Hong as Jackie Love is dead again. And Doran cuts the enemy support down. Only mentioned back at the draft when we saw the Kaisa locked in. Never mind, we don't have time. Jackie Love going after Gumayushi, who sidesteps the public execution and kills Jackie anyway. 369 wants the damage, and Guma's finally going to be shut down. But Top Esports lose their top laner. Now Owner's putting the pressure onto Cream and Hong, making more space as Faker lets blow the winds of war. And they will blow down Top Esports. Nobody's left alive.
Behind Gumayushi, still does not hesitate to press W towards T1. He knows that they will not turn this game around idly by.
Owner over the wall, immediately goes into the Cataclysm. Jackie Love under pressure as Gumayushi pops the Seeker, staying alive for now, needs a little bit more damage. Carrier swoops in behind him. Gumayushi's still alive. Top Esports is not. It's T1 with a full send. Keep going straight for the Nexus. Here comes the Grand Starfall, and Jackie's already down. Hong goes with them. The focus fire into 369 as Cream and Kanavi scramble to stay alive, but nobody on Top Esports has anything to stop T1. It's only the mid laner left. They'll get the final kill, and yet again, the highest peaks of the LPL.
On the equalizer, Redemption now used, cooldown up just in time. KT keeps going, but now they want to turn it right back. Instantaneous equalizer. Carrier locked up. Rumble coming in, but denied. Carrier wants to knock Perfect out of the fight, but it might not matter because it's Doran into the back line. Owner stays standing. Cuz take it down. T1 fire back.
No matter the early deficit, T1, they still win the team fight. They still get the dragon, and they're looking for BDD.
On the hunt for BDD, but there's just nowhere. No flash for Cuz. KT luckily able to reset the objective, but I don't think they're going to get a chance to leave quite yet. T1 know they have an advantage in the fight if it comes down to the 5v5. Flash forward, ulti into the back, immediately thinks he kicked off, but Peter does his best to heroically disengage. It is not enough to keep Doc Dom standing. Cuz taken out as well. Doran in the 3v1, completely and totally unfazed. Carrier there to stop any further follow-up. Faker taking down Perfect, and BDD is not enough to stop T1.
And it's the Krug Lord that finds his mark. Duckdom goes down, and T1 turn onto Otacon.
Doran, the addition to this T1 roster, annihilated him.
Hello.
Resetting, resistance is shredded by the Otacon. Carrier, ward over the wall, spots out Cuz. T1 know it's a 50-50 now. 5 seconds on Doc but he doesn't have access to a TP to make it to the fight any faster. Perfect TP available. BDD finds the angle into Doran. Carrier now backing up 3K on the objective. Getting lower. Steadfast presence gone. Faker on the backside. Cuz wants to try to make it out of this one, but now they're moving into advantage to take out Guma. No, Guma living. Who's to finish him? Looking for a bit more damage, but T1, they find the double for Carrier. They take the Thornbound Otacon, and Perfect. It is too little. It is too late. Carrier going into the wall, locking up Cuz. Instantaneous knockup. A flawless combo to keep it going. Duckdown finally escapes, but he just finds himself in a 1v1 versus Doran. Hope fading fast for the side of KT as Carrier is still standing. Perfect and BDD running for the hills. T1 grabbing their second Drake, but Owner not done yet. Knocks Peter out as well. Verdict from Carrier. Now they might just look to end it here. Flash forward. Perfect execution. Aptly named as Dockdam takes him down. KT now chasing out as well. BDD trying to well more back into the rest of the team, but Carrier once again there to interrupt. Doran unfazed by the magic damage of BDD. It's a double kill coming through. Perfect and Cuz, the last two left standing, but a TP into the base to bring back and seal the deal. Are powerful. They move in with the heal. A pillar to immediately block them out. The 50-50 goes to Owner. Flash away from the handshake as Peter barely able to make it out alive. Good recovery from T1.
And he flashes for that. He's like, no, trust me. I got this. Takes the wheel and finds the 50-50 steal. And here trying to hide there on the Ocean Rift, looking for a big displacement.
Herald summoned in the mid lane. 5v5 at the pit. Flash ulti available for BDD if he wants to try and find it. Perfect isolated off to the side. Hostile takeover stops Peter from going any further. Dockdam completely isolated. Cooking the barrel for just a little bit longer, and now the Drake is going to go down. Owner taking it. Dockdam isolated. And Perfect trying to force a fight with Faker, but he gets nothing as the wall comes in to interrupt. Flash over the wall. The ulti from BDD. He might get a couple more kills, but again, the objective belongs to KT. Even as T1 begin to fall, Faker and Carrier ready to turn it. But have they overcommitted the wall there to try and disengage? Carry a Faker running into the pinch, obliterate, connecting for full damage. Cuz on the chase, waiting a few seconds for the pillar, but the stun clutch to disengage for the side of T1.
T1, they get the dragon, but at what cost, guys?
It's costing KT hundreds of gold just to be here. And if T1 take the fight, it might just cost them the game.
Perfect has
sticking
ult.
around, ready to get them away. The ulti not stacked up. Perfect going forward just a little bit longer. The Death Realm to come out. Owner gonna respond with an ulti of his own, turning off the lights on this team fight between both lineups. Gumayusi and Perfect in the Death Realm, and Guma takes those. T1 focusing on the objective. Cleanse used from Carrier. Heal on the way. Faker finding a bit more damage. BDD isolated. Hostile takeover gonna connect onto BDD. It won't have much effect as Cuz tries to chase Faker out. But Doc Dam, he might take Carrier. But it's T1 taking the Otacon. Guma securing the objective.
And there it is, the second smite for T1 strikes again.
Things off. Cuz still eating a bit of damage. The poke from T1. A bit tough to deal with. You can see the pierce that lands onto Doc Dom, taking that chunk of health. Flash in, full committal to the fight. Pillar to isolate Owner, redemption to heal Faker right back up. That's almost every single cooldown burn. It's on BDD to try to turn it back, but it's a split fight. T1 coming from multiple sides, collapsing as Owner moves in on top of Perfect. Dorn has been isolated in the Death Realm, but he'll manage to make it over. Flashback, absolutely jukes him. And now it's Perfect caught in a 1v1 with Faker right as he comes out. He is stunned, but he won't be taken down. All of T1 in the pit. The spears stacked, smites available.
Faker's gonna teleport back. They're recalling Mordekaiser and the Anivia.
The fight just continues to go. 6K getting lower. Doctum trying to get a bit of poke. Hostile takeover connecting. They don't have a cleanse. Devour from Peter is good, but it might not matter. Cuz continuing to move in. BDD waiting over the wall. The ulti is there, but they don't need to face him yet. The turn on to Faker isn't enough. 3K. Cuz in the pit. At the end of the day, it does not matter because it is Doran to get the soul. KT might be able to get the fight, but there's too many members of T1 standing. Ocean Soul to T1 as everybody.
And KT, we'll see if they can make something happen.
Owner and T1 have secured every single objective this game. Cuz moving in, but zoned away by the storm from the side of the team. Berserk now onto Cuz, has to ulti. Owner using an ulti of his own just to try and disengage. Dorn, meanwhile, in the mid lane, happy to just continue fighting. Perfect going into the back line, looking to get taken down by Faker. He's in the Death Realm, but Faker's happy with the 1v1. Just in time, he gets out, and Dorn is there to seal the deal on the kill. KT desperate to get anything. They've already lost their top laner. The game rapidly slipping away.
They're trying their best to not let this game go to 5 as Doran still searching.
No
T1.
flash for BDD, that crucial piece of CC and exhaust there. But Faker just waiting in the darkness. Guma stacking up the spears, the wall to zone KT away. Flash not there for Cuz either. BDD off on the side is going to use the ultimate. W in from Peter does absolutely nothing. T1, they see a vulnerable opponent. They know what they can do as they start to rip them to shreds. KT is not going to take a bear, and T1 reminding us.
Guma is 2 levels up on the top laner.
Cuz caught out, isolated, immediate subjugate to try and stay standing, forced to flash back. BDD in the darkness, 3-man, but it's Doran to try to turn it right back. The ulti is decent, Carrier wants to turn it back with the hostile takeover. The gold deficit is just too massive. Even a miracle, even an incredible angle was not enough in the face of this T1 lineup. The triple, the quadra, T1. Getting lower and lower. Last Right's offering a bit of healing. The tactical sweep there from Doran to slow him down. Owner all but certain to make this one come through. First blood for T1. Doran's Camille takes it.
To put threat behind when I move up in lane and try and taunt you. And now you don't have that pressure at all.
Q forward, sidestep, the taunt, Faker turning it back, BDD, one more auto, the 1-for-1!
And BDD, no hesitation, must have known that was going to kill him.
Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Doran locked down with the pandas. Cuz on the way up.
Oh, just barely.
With the flail.
With Sejuani to back it up, then the Camille Galio,
Faker.
Leona combo is
Moving down, that's the combo, locks him in the ultimatum, finds the damage, the taunt is there, and Doran take one, pushing them back. It'll take a miracle for them to get this one out. Owner, Peter coming in for the lockup, but Owner manages to get the objective, the fight coming out. Fire rained over the wall by Gumayusi, and down goes Peter. BDD finally arrived, that's the ulti coming in the meantime. He needs a little bit more space, Doctom, BDD untouched, but the front line has fallen. BDD, CC'd, knocked into the sky, and right back into the grave. T1, get Otacon, and ace KT. The ulti can do a lot of work. Doran going in, doesn't connect the hookshot wall dive, immediately CC'd. Exhaust coming in as well. Combo over the top from Guma, finds two. Exhaust is
FAKER rains down from the sky, locks up BDD, and obliterates the hope for KT Rolster.
Favor of T1 that make this so hard is immediately they're going to kick things off by going in on Cuz, taking away the Frost Armor passive. Lockdown from Carrier is there. TP in from Doran as well. All T's going across the board. BDD caught off the side. A good flash to take him out, and Guma has to be careful, but he's so damn fast. Owner pulling up BDD. He goes gold in an extra 2.5 seconds to consider what went wrong as T1 looks set to end it all.
They're going to finish the job. It is Doran and Peter left alone in the mid lane.
Owner, FAKER, Gumayusi, Carrier, and now Doran as well are world champions.
And the disbelief on his face. A teammate that so many have praised over the long years. Domestically, he's all...
T1 world champions once again.
And they did it as the 4th seed again. They had to play.
Owner rather is flexing. One-handed lift as the GOAT in the second